Saucers, Spooks, and Kooks. UFOs are serious business.
Hello, and welcome back to Saucer, Spooks and Kooks podcast. I'm Chris, here with Adam Gorightly, and we've had some recent feedback that we should set up the show with a little more context and give the new listener a hook. So this is my attempt to do that. Adam's book with the same title was adapted into the film, which lays out the history of the UFO narrative in the 80s and 90s. And Paul Bennewitz's role is pretty central to figuring out how things went down. So go check out that book for the comprehensive romp through that era. Or you can go check out the film for the abridged version. And as far as giving you a hook to keep the listeners on the edge of their seats, we've got in this episode an alien abduction, an underground base, and secret beam weapons that will knock your toes through your socks, and your socks will peel back like banana peels and smoke and smell like fricasseed toe jam. And, well, I'm just not sure what else. Okay, so this is our Bennewitz show.
The Bennewitz tapes.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about where you found this audio?
Oh, sure. I found this first tape, or actually both tapes, at the Rice archives of, it was in the Richard Haynes archives.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the big reasons that it was like one of the big tells that I should, make the film and reach out to you, was finding this tape. Because I didn't want to make the film and not bring anything new to it. I actually looked around in the archives of, I think it's KOB. It's like a local news station in Albuquerque. Two of them, actually. I went through the archives of two of them. And I think the guy was getting a little frustrated with me. He's like, we don't have stuff from that, old, from the 80s and stuff. So
yeah.
Because I was like, this guy, Bennewitz there has to be some news footage of this guy, because he was in the paper at one point,
right?
And Albuquerque airport shut down one time, and it was like UFOs were somehow involved with that. I think that's what that article was about, right?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I'm going to touch on that later.
Oh, okay. Sure. So, and then it turns out David Perkins had the tapes too. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Do you remember he gave me a bunch of tapes, and then I digitized them, and that was on there.
Yeah. No, I didn't really know where it came from, but it was amazing hearing Bennewitz for the first time.
Yeah, it was cool. It definitely did not disappoint. He's in heightened paranoia stage here.
Yeah. He says he doesn't want to be dramatic, but...
Right. Several times he says that.
It gets very dramatic.
Yeah, maybe it's a good place to say here is that I don't want to give the impression that I'm making light of anything that we... Or, making light of his situation or what happened to him. But that said, I mean, some of this stuff is really funny and highly entertaining.
I made some notes. I meant to listen to the whole thing through before this. I mean, when we were making the film, I listened to it many times to pick out pertinent stuff. It had been a while since I listened to it. I only got to listen to a few minutes, but yeah, I mean, as far as the humor, like you said, don't want to make fun of this guy. He was in pretty bad shape. Even by this point, he sounds very paranoid, but it starts off with, it's very dangerous to talk about this over the phone.
Right.
Then he goes on to talk about it for 35 minutes.
Right.
Another humorous, I made some notes here. He doesn't like to call them saucers, but they are identifiable as saucers. So
Does he say that?
yeah,
It kind
So
of
he's-
contradicts himself.
yeah. So he's not saying saucers, but saucers. I'm not saying aliens, but aliens.
Oh, man.
Let me go through a couple more of my notes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I don't have a lot here, but he says it's a true regression, not a hypnotic regression that was done on Myrna Hansen. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I was confused by that myself.
And then they can completely control you, the aliens, the beams. Nobody knew this until he was able to measure and confirm it with his electromagnetic contraptions he put together. And he's talking about a briefing he was planning to have, and I don't know if that ever happened, but I think he's talking about that Peter Sturek guy is going to be there, and Jim Lorenzen from APRO, and
Yeah.
it sounded like he was stressed out because he was preparing for this briefing of these guys, whoever was going to show up there. And I
Yeah.
never heard if that really happened or not. There are no records from that briefing.
There is talk between Peter Sturek and Richard Haynes before Richard Haynes gets on the phone with Bennewitz. It's on the tape that we'll post up online
Yeah.
in the show notes. But they are talking about, like, oh, he wants to talk to Hynek and Valet. And Richard Haynes was like, well, they're like Mecca for the UFO crowd, you know?
Right, yeah. He wants to go to the top of the heap, and, it's like Haynes is saying, well, you need to, go through the gatekeepers first before you go to the big boys.
Yeah, right.
And that they're all part of, Haynes and Sturek are part of CUFOS, which is the Center for UFO Studies, I guess.
That's the Dr. Hynek's group.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to point that out. Later in this show or the next show, we'll do the McCampbell tape recordings that also came from that Haynes archives. And Campbell as well belonged to CUFOS.
Okay. I really didn't know much about Peter Sturek, but it sounds like he really, was a legitimate scientist, and or an astrophysicist, I think it was, and he was into like plasma physics, and
Yeah.
he was into UFO or interested in UFOs, and then he had hired Valet for a project, and that's when he kind of got more into it, it sounds like.
Yeah, so CUFOS was more into the scientific end of UFO research, or, so they presented themselves, and all these guys were scientists or wannabe scientists, Sturek and Haynes and Valet and Hynek. McCampbell wasn't a scientist per se, but that was his interest in the scientific end of UFO research. So when Bennewitz comes on the scene, he's a scientist physicist guy, but he's also bringing in all this other wild stuff.
Right. Just a little background on Haynes. I was looking around just a little, really, but all I could really find was that he was a research scientist at NASA, which I didn't really know what that means, research scientist, but do you have any insight for that?
No?
Yeah, so it sounds kind of vague, but whatever that means, that's what he was.
Yeah.
So we should I was thinking we should set this up and do our Bennewitz timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So going from the timeline that we kind of both put together, Bennewitz had started seeing these lights at the base as early as September, I think.
Uh-huh.
79. So
Okay.
So then in January 1980, Paul reaches out, or it's somehow that he's connected to Ernest Edwards, who was a major or colonel.
At that time, he was Major Ernest Edwards, in charge of security at Kirtland Air Force Base, I believe.
Right. Okay, yeah. And in the audio, I think Bennewitz even mentions this too. So May 6th and May 7th happen where Myrna Hansen reports her UFO experience, and she's hooked up with Valdez, Gabe Valdez, the highway patrolman, and
Yeah, Myrna Hansen went into that highway patrol office in Cimarron, and they directed her to Gabe Valdez, who came out and met with her and took her to Albuquerque to meet Paul Bennewitz to further investigate the case, to help her, whatever was going on.
right. So on the 6th, she had the cattle mutilation UFO sighting, and then on the 7th, she's at Paul's house already. So,
Yeah, he drove her there. Gabe Valdez took her to Albuquerque.
and then we have documentation of on May 11th and 12th, 1980, of hypnosis sessions, where Hansen is already talking about an underground base.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in Bishop's book, I think. That was a source for that.
Okay.
And then May 28th comes around, and Richard Haynes calls, and Myrna is still there, and this is the tape.
Paul Bennewitz here.
Hello, I'm calling long distance from California. My name is Richard Haynes,
Yes, Richard.
and I just spoke with Dr. Peter Sturek at Stanford,
Yes.
and Jim Lorenzen of APRO just called also about the case that you had mentioned to him.
Yeah, we talked quite at length.
Uh-huh.
I would put it this way: it's very dangerous to talk about it over the phone.
I understand.
I can give you a review, but let me say this at this point in time, which, if I tell you any more, it will put you in jeopardy, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I think I do.
And I'm not trying to dramatize this or over-dramatize it. Let me briefly just fill you in kind of backwards here so that you know what's happening at this precise time while I'm talking to you, okay?
Sure.
All right, first of all, I have been tracking them electronically now for about 8 months. And I have been doing a study which was set up on a very strict, hypothesis,
Yes.
starting 11 months ago.
Okay.
And just a brief thumbnail sketch of the hypothesis, which I, made very strong so that it would not and could not be violated to make the study, or else the study would not be valid.
Okay.
It amounted to that the measurements I made, this is just thumbnail, it's quite more complex than this, but the measurements, every measurement to be made, every observation to be made, and, what have you, the logs, all had to be cross-correlated wherever possible. It had to be self-supporting all the way through. It had to be done with equipment that is readily available to any science, and who, under the same circumstances, could perform and duplicate all these tests and recordings.
Okay.
And that mythology, mystical things, theology, and what have you, would not and could not be considered in this particular instance.
Okay.
There was one small qualification in there, in the sense that some information that was known, which obviously has to be taken into account in the hypothesis, could be used as long as it was used only as a possible basis of fact to experiment periodically with and to try to validate. And if it could not be validated and then confirmed with electronic instruments, again going through the same thing, then it was to be thrown out.
I see.
That was it. It was limiting, but then from that, over a period of time, and particularly now, the hypothesis is secure, it is working, it is valid, and now the off-branching is beginning to come in the form of new hypotheses that are all interconnected and interlacing, self-supporting, and supporting each other, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, we have been, we had this encounter, Victor. I think Peter probably told you that.
Yes, just very briefly, however.
All right, she walked in on something that she was not supposed to do. I guess that's where I'll start. And the other stuff you can pick up from Peter, and of course you must attend the briefing.
Okay.
As I see it right now, there'll be two. The first briefing has to be done immediately, and I think you'll see why when I get through this. She encountered, and she walked in on the scene. It was not planned. It was not a planned encounter. She got the pounce effect, which I call it.
Could you spell that, please?
Pounce, like a cat pounces.
Oh, pounce, all right.
P-U-N-C.
Right.
I call it a pounce effect. In other words, that's what they employ, and it seems to be coming out of a lot of encounter types that I've heard of and have in this area. I only have two I know of. One is a state representative who just won't talk about it. It happened to him a year ago, March.
New Mexico?
And I won't talk too much about that. I will tell you briefly about it a little later. But, that was insignificant compared to this one.
Uh-huh.
She had her boy with her, a 6-year-old. And there were a total of 8 saucers.
8? I'm sorry, 8 what?
Saucers. I don't call them UFOs. I don't like that.
Okay.
Because literally they are saucers. I had never seen a saucer, as I call it, until 11 months ago, though I had collected data just for a scrapbook and a file for ever since 1948.
Okay.
So, I didn't even know what one looked like. Well, since then, I've seen them so close. And the data I have in the way of photographs, I will say this, are not the classical, beautiful, as they call them, UFOs floating over beautiful countryside. These things are loaded with scientific data. They are identifiable as saucers, however, and they are very clear. They are both daylight and night.
Uh-huh.
Some motion picture, and most of the stills taken either through a telescope in some instances using a Canon 35 millimeter. The other stills taken with a Hasselblad 500 cm, which is about a $5,000 camera.
Mm-hmm.
That is used or was used by the guys on the moon. It has a high resolution series of lenses. Takes beautiful pictures. And, is accurate.
Yeah.
Okay. The lost time totaled 4 3/4 hours.
Okay.
He did not recognize it at the time I went to talk with her. And basically they had her surrounded when she came out of this. She did not remember the input, in other words, when it started, but she and the boy remembered this pounce effect, as I call it, of this light coming directly right, looked like it was going to come right through the windshield.
Okay. She was driving then.
Yeah, she was driving. The boy was, I believe, in the back seat at that point in time. Without going on with the story, because there's 6 hours of recorded tapes,
Uh-huh.
this is the first time, to my knowledge, in this whole history of this thing where a true regression has been done. That's not hypnotism, it's just a trance-like state, as I see it.
And this was done by Leo Sprinkle?
Correct.
Okay.
And it was done in conjunction with electronic tracking equipment watching the alien reaction.
Now, let me try to get something clear in my own mind before we go on.
All right?
Are you saying that while Dr. Sprinkle was doing this regression, you had some equipment set up? Is that right?
The ground station was I'm sitting in a library, and the ground station is installed here in a closet.
I see. About how far away was the equipment from the woman?
About 14, 15 feet.
Okay, and then you did get some measurements during that encounter, the regression.
I got absolutely everything.
Are the measurements you got at that time any way similar to the measurements you've gotten since then or before then?
Well, no, not in the strictest sense. See, I have 2 recorders. One is monitoring the propulsion and the force field.
Uh-huh.
The other one is monitoring the magnetic sweeping and scanning beam. They can completely control you. If you're an encounter victim, you're absolutely under your control. There's nothing you can do about it. And up to now, I don't think anybody even suspected that until I measured it and detected it. And I've got it time slotted in different slots all the way through, and to study the reaction to each statement that was made.
What do you mean by time slotted?
Well, time slotted in that it was totally recorded, 6 hours of recording, and she talked slow enough that we were able to take most of it verbatim in writing also.
Uh-huh.
And that then anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes to 5 minutes to 10 minutes, I time slotted it in conjunction with the recorders. So now I'm able to go back and look at the alien reaction after any one critical statement she made.
I understand.
Okay.
Did you know this woman at all before? How did she come to you, for instance?
Well, they had a site. Well, see, I've been working here on this study now for 11 months.
Uh-huh.
It got started, and I'm not going to go into that because it takes forever to tell it.
Sure.
And I don't intend to tell you the whole thing. I'm only going to give you a piece.
Okay.
Because I've got a lot of things I got to get done tonight. If I don't, I'll never get this put together. At any rate, I had been working with a highway patrolman up north in the northwestern part of New Mexico around the mutilation area. And I was pretty certain, though that's not my main interest, obviously, but I was pretty certain it was connected based on data he had given me and pictures he'd taken at the site of lander tracks.
Uh-huh.
That initially happened, I believe, as I recall, in June of '76. And so I've been coordinating with him, and so in the process there, this time, I have discovered their flight paths. I know where they go, and I have traced them, you know.
I see.
Follow a flight line generally. They usually follow the same pattern. And I will say this, absolutely no way must this be publicized, because it is at this point at a level of national security. So I can only tell you so much. It must not be published.
Now, okay, let me ask you, do you think that you may be monitored right now? I see.
Suspect is government, and you know, I don't really care because I am working with the government. I'm liaisoning presently with the military, and it is on its way to the National Security Agency. In fact, they've already been contacted, and we're waiting for action from them. I'm hoping to get one from there to come here to this meeting.
Uh-huh.
I'm positive they're tapped. I have heard them open the line, and I've caught them at it. I have a watch line at my plant, and they penetrated that. And I don't know whether you know what a watch line is,
Oh, yes.
but it's highly secure, and it's very difficult even for the telephone company to do it. They can, and if they have a court order from the government, they will do it. And even though they come out and check for taps, which I had done, they won't tell you that.
Sure.
So, but I don't really care because this is not a classic, as they call it, UFO experience in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not going to go much further. If you want to come to the briefing, it will be thorough. I will say this: it is backed absolutely, for the first time to my knowledge, by solid, definable scientific records, tapes, magnetic tapes, for computer feed and an analysis at a later date. I have the scanner beam footprints now. I've been monitoring. They have us under pressure at this point in time when I'm talking to you, and I'm dead serious about it. There are at least 20 ships in the area, most of them within 5 to 6 and up to 8,000 feet away from this particular location, riding at around 8,000 feet. And I came up with a countermeasure for the victims. At this point, their only way of getting to us, other than giving us each a hard time, they can knock you down. They've knocked my wife down 3 times.
Is that right?
They increased the field in this house. The house is a townhome. It's not concrete block. It's that other type. It's stone. The 2-story, and it's big, about 2,700 square feet in that ballpark. The electrostatic field in here has climbed so high that you don't only have to make a movement and you'll blow a spark an inch long.
Is that right?
Humidity, I'm monitoring it. I can't see it right now. It's not 50%, so you would expect some, but it's just way high. And in the area where they're scanning, where I have the encounter victim, where I can control it with a countermeasure, and incidentally it works. He's been very comfortable. They kept going to her through holes in it that I had not corrected in the first trial model, which we built at the plant.
Uh-huh.
we rebuilt it and did another one today, and now we're secure, and they cannot get through it, and they've been throwing power outages. But it's so fantastic. My wife is here, her mother's here, and she's here. I can go and come, and so can they. I don't dare take her out of from under the protection. And I've warned her right now, at the magnetic levels I'm seeing, the force field levels that are coming in here in those beams, if she sticks her head out of that countermeasure, it will damn well knock her out, and it could kill her.
Are you telling me that the encounter victim is there with you now?
Well, absolutely. She's here because out of this, see, the whole thing got out of control without going through the whole story. You've got to hear it in the briefing. You've got to talk with her. You've got to talk to Sprinkle. You've got to get this thing right. If I go off random, it will not be properly organized from a scientific standpoint, and I just will not do it that way. The data will be presented honestly, truthfully, accurately, as accurately as possible. It will not have any basis upon any other encounter that has occurred to date. One piece of data taken from one for a certain analysis because we got some answers on it. I can't tell you how we did it. The rest is based entirely on the 11-month study with no look and no review. This is not a UFO conference or a seminar. This is a briefing.
I understand. Has anybody from the NSA indicated that they would be there?
Not yet. The major called them yesterday and explained to them that something was happening here that he thought they damn well better get on.
I see.
He gave them just enough information. And the major wasn't that new to it. I had given him warning about, it's been 4 or 5, 6 months ago. I went to him directly because I was scanning one end of his facility, which is highly secure and secret. That guards probably a large amount, which I don't know, of our nation's security. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Things would sit out there within 300 yards of his people, at an altitude of about 300 feet, highly visible to me and visible to them. And there's a classic law of physics, which is called Einstein's theory of relativity, that explains it. That was another part of the hypothesis that said he could not, under any circumstance, unless I could absolutely justify it in measurements, which I don't know how I'd make right at this point in time, he could not abrogate Einstein's theory of relativity or Einsteinian theory. Not Einsteinian, Newtonian theory.
Newtonian.
Yeah, and they are adhering so far very nicely to the whole set of physics. If you've got a physics book, you can pick it out just as easy as by.
Uh-huh.
But at any rate, they're sitting there. Generally 5. The most I've ever seen there were 6 in a line. They fly synchronously. They have to. If they don't, they're like magnets in the box. They just bump into each other. Now they put that because they know I can see their pulses. They've gone covert on that for quite a while, and I've been yanking those out of the mud with phase lock.
When you say you can see them, does this mean visually or electromagnetically?
Visually and electromagnetically.
I see. What do they look like to your eye?
Well, you see, if you look at them without any aid, and this explains all these descriptions these people have come up with. Some look like dumbbells, some look like ice cream cones, some look like balloons. You know, there's a mile-long list. What it is, and it is now possible to explain this, I won't go into it on the phone, but it is a relatively known method, though we've never done anything with it, and it certainly isn't as advanced as theirs, and we certainly don't have flying machines that could even cope. But they look roughly like a saucer, but it is perturbated by the current sheets around them. And in the current sheets and the spikes and all the clues, scientifically now, lying there, you know exactly how to find. And you know exactly how they're guiding. You know exactly what makes them turn, why the color, but you have to filter it optically. That's a proprietary device that I developed, and it works beautifully.
Okay. Let me ask another question. If they're beaming some sort of energy in your direction, I think I personally would be a little concerned about coming down there for fear of personal injury.
Well, that's what I'm telling each one. They will, whoever comes in here, I told Peter that. I'm making sure that Jim informs everybody. This is of national importance, security, and significance. This is of worldwide, significance, and we are, figuratively speaking, right now, we are under attack at this point. We are experiencing, the beams. I'm measuring them. I'm making tape recordings of them. I'm playing them back on the scope, and the way it's working, I'll tell you, visual feedback, oral feedback, my talking, into a recorder, anything gets to them instantly, and there's no way to hide it. Cannot hide it. That's the reason I'm not. If you try to, while you're experimenting, if you stick an earphone in your ear or even listen to the sounds of this probing beam, immediately it goes right back up and you are scanned. And what I'm explaining is, if you elect to come in here, if you want to hear the data and want to go with this into history, and I'm not being dramatic, then you are in jeopardy, and I'm obligated to inform you, and I can't tell you how deep that jeopardy is or what the related long-term effects might be. The logic is very bad at this level. The people that they're using are being instructed. The machines I'm looking at are machines, but there's an interface there that I can detect with the electronics that tells me there's something there. It's either a humanoid or a programmed humanoid or something, but he cannot make a decision. So he comes in his ships, and generally two, it appears, flies in these small ships, and then more in the larger ones. I have determined nearly precisely how big they are by knowing lens angles, distances, and what have you, and I've always put them against a background so that if they have to get away from me, they got to go through a mountain or something. And I use that for my computational base.
I see. Maybe you could help me understand a little better. You said something to the effect that you thought that they cannot make a decision or something like that. Could you amplify on that, please?
Well, see, here's how I know. I look at the electronics, and I'm doing some experiments here which are very dangerous, and I have stopped it. And now I'm waiting for the first scientist to come in for this first briefing, and out of that I'll ask one to come and monitor it, and if I have what I call the alien loop, but boy, I've got it now. If I have that feedback loop, which they absolutely have to have, the minute I stick that in my ear, I'm in jeopardy. It's a self-defeating mechanism. If you try to do it alone, they'll know precisely where your weak centers are. They'll concentrate on that, and immediately you're out of it. And their scanning beams are all over the place. I can't feel them for some reason, but the girls are, and it's affecting two of them very psychologically. The strain, they are under tremendous strain. You cannot imagine what's going on here.
Do you know if any of your neighbors are experiencing anything like this?
We've been checking, and it seems to be concentrated. This beam is precisely focused.
I see.
When they come across, they've cut our power off twice. I'd never been through that experiment. They dead stop over the house about 300 feet. They sit there, downlines the power. The spike comes through the house, and it knocks it out, and it's easily explained by a basic law of physics. They simply are putting a magnetic field through all the insulated wires in the house. The free charge carriers, or the free electrons that carry are the conducting medium in wires for electricity, are then locked up and all oriented. Then all you have left is the electrostatic field, and so therefore all the lights go out.
It reminds me of some research on UFOs by, let's see, Jim, I don't remember his last name.
I don't know.
Have you read anything like that in the literature?
To be very honest with you, the only book I've really read, and the rest I haven't even touched, and I really don't have, maybe I've got a couple second looks, which I just subscribe to as suggestions, and to be frank with you, I throw them in the wastebasket now. The only book I have read is that one, I don't recall the name of it, but Dr. Hynek wrote it, and that's it.
I think that's a UFO experience.
Well, one of the first he wrote.
Yeah.
The one he had a picture, I think he took it, what he thought was a saucer. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. What did you think of his book?
I liked it very much. I liked the approach, and to be frank about it, out of that I developed a lot of respect for him.
What kind of scientific background do you have?
Well, my base, my ground base is physics, and has been for years. And I hold a reasonable number of patents. We're in semiconductor work at the plant, and also research and development in a number of areas. Some of them are highly proprietary. Energy-oriented, other sideline projects. We also build calibration systems that go along with the semiconductor. The semiconductor concept I developed and wrote the first paper on. It was new in the industry.
Nice.
As to the use of a semiconductor.
Uh-huh.
And we make our own. It's not the classic silicon type, but it is a semiconductor and material, and it works beautifully for humidity sensing.
I see.
And it's going, well, we're the only supplier approved by NASA to go on the shuttle on the first flight. And our equipment is in that one of those first environmental packages. And anyone that goes on that flight and following flights until some later date has to use our equipment.
Hey, that's fantastic.
We're in the cockpit, we're back in the experimental bay, and we're somewhere in between, and we're in the what they call extravehicular suit to monitor metabolic rates and things like that.
Oh, I see.
With
So,
McDonnell Douglas.
are you a subcontractor to Douglas?
We will be, we've been supplying them the sensors to put in the suit and helping them with the electronics. They're building their own electronics right now.
Uh-huh.
He is doing a cloud study on that first flight, and they'll be buying quite a number of special systems. And so we'll be on that, and then, of course, on the experimental package, and then TRW, I believe, is the one that's in the cockpit. I don't recall which one it is. But at any rate, we're the only one approved for it.
Well, that's something to be proud of.
It met one of my ambitions, I'll tell you that. I wanted to get on something, and I tried first on the Mars probe, and they decided to pull the humidity. And I was thinking now that one at the last minute. I think they're sorry now, but it's over with.
Uh-huh.
And so, in a nutshell, that's it. I don't put too much emphasis on education. I do not have a PhD, but my experience is well over 30 years, and I did go to college for a degree in that basic physics.
Sure. Where'd you go to school?
Arizona State.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do have to run now, but I really appreciate the information and probably be back with you by phone.
All right, well, do you think you'll come?
Well, it largely depends on finances, which are, of course, short, because I'm volunteering my time, as most of us do.
We're all doing it. I'm financing this whole operation. In fact, the thing that this victim has had that no one else has had, she has had a complete, absolutely thorough x-ray that goes in depth, taking special precautions to preserve the culturing material to hold out for the next 10 years as our technology improves to go back and look at it. That's in secret and is frozen.
Excellent.
He's had CAT scans. You know what a CAT scan is?
Oh, yes.
Pardon me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, she had 2 CAT scans at different resolutions. Obviously, we were looking for, implants. We don't know that it's there. I don't think it is. Those still are being evaluated. We have found the marks that they made. I have developed from those marks, knowing how they look. I've performed experiments here and determined that I can damn near duplicate them. She was attacked with some kind of instrument by the cattle killers who are not even supposed to be in the picture. He developed a tremendous infection, and the doctor says that the very worst case he's ever seen in his life. He's been in business for years. The first time, and they contaminated her thoroughly. She had a hell of a psychological thing happen here. Fortunately, her IQ is well above 140, and that's where they made their mistake. He now has, I'm sure, one more secret, and that's why they are pounding on us. And they're not leaving. I thought they would. If it had been me, I would have been gone. If I'd left it to me, that would, if I was any kind of smart guys like these guys are supposed to be, if then the scientist or the encounter victim had tried to tell anybody, everybody would say you're crazy.
Uh-huh.
The darn fools have stayed here and allowed me somehow to monitor and measure. I'm not sure it's allowing. I'm just taking the data, and they're in trouble. Their very existence right now is threatened. And I'll tell you this. I want to make this very plain. I went into this with no intent at all. I was governed by the hypothesis all the way through. This came out of the blue and dropped right on top of me. And obviously I jumped on the opportunity and I made the best of it. I visited the site. I spent days up there. I have verified it. I've seen some of the craziest anomalies I've ever seen. They do not answer the classic laws of physics. I proved that they'd been there. Radiation said they'd been there. The whole concept, and incidentally, when I say radiation, it is not classic radiation like you think of.
What kind of radiation is it?
I'll talk about that if you get to the briefing.
I see. Okay.
You know, I got to get you guys over here. I got to dump it on somebody else. You see, I can take a selfish outlook and say, hey, I want to write a book, and I do. But this is of national significance, and it's dangerous. I didn't think it was at the start. I began to suspect it as a hypothesis proceeded. My opportunities have been fantastic for observation. I've been tracking them nightly, I'd say, for at least the last 8 or 9 months. They're here constantly. I can't tell you why.
You say nightly? Every night?
Absolutely. Worst case was, as I recall, the full moon at the first of the year, from the 1st to the 5th of January. I think it's the only time I didn't see them. And, well, you know, the electronic equipment wasn't sophisticated enough, so I could have missed them. But, you know, other than that, they're there, and I track them.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes, I would say 50% of the time, depending on whether the moon is full or new or whatever, and that's strictly a hiding mechanism because of their, they are visible under certain conditions, and they don't like that. And so they observe some of that stuff, but just marginally, right now we have a full moon and they're sitting right on top of us, and they don't care, you know, because we have something that they don't want us to have.
What do you think that is?
Well, I can say this, I can speculate, and I think I'm going to be able to find out. It threatens their very existence.
Oh.
The encounter victim knows, and now they're frantic because they cannot get through the countermeasures they've taken.
Uh-huh.
Can't reach her.
Well, now, you said that this encounter victim had a young son with her. Was he affected in any way?
Yes, he was. He's very intelligent, has a good memory for detail, has childhood dreams that somehow a child has some kind of escape mechanism that pulls these things out. We tried to regress him, and I don't know where you ever tried to do that, but you can't do much with a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah, Leo didn't try that, is that right?
He did try it, and we thought it was going to work, but he's so bright and alert that it just, you know, he didn't understand really what we were trying to do, and I'd get him started, and then I'd say, you know, then I wouldn't lead him. The first thing I'd lead him, and then I'd let him go. And clearly with the encounter victim, I just don't lead, and that's the thing I like about Leo, is he doesn't lead.
Yeah, he's a well-trained man.
Very good. That's the first time I'd had an opportunity to sit and watch him work.
Yeah.
And assist, and you know, and of course watching the electronics run and looking for danger signs, and he is excellent.
Yeah, he really is.
I like the way he does it because he does not lead. He just sits there and they talk.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's great. And
Well,
there's a recording. There's about 6 hours of it.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. He's very thorough in doing that. But I certainly appreciate your time, Mr. Bennewitz, and I'll be in touch with you by mail, and I'm going to have to consider very seriously your invitation to come down.
Well, I encourage you to do so because I can't tell you the extent of jeopardy, and I'm certainly not going to over-dramatize and tell you where I'm at.
Yeah. Right.
My psychological condition right now is good. The 2 girls, I feel, are deteriorating, and I've got the military working on it. But you know, it's red tape. So here we sit, like 4 pioneers, surrounded by Indians.
Yeah, sure.
There are about 20 ships.
I see.
There are more than we ever thought there were. This is going to be just laid out as scientific fact. The people attending, I hope, from talking with Peter and everybody, are damn good scientists. They're not dumbbells. And I'm not going to attempt to explain. I will enlarge. I'm not going to attempt to prove, because the data and the proof is there, and if they're good scientists, they'll recognize it.
Yeah, I see.
I almost bet you, from what I've seen, that they will be here, and the final test that I want to perform, which will put me in danger, electronically I'll be doing this, then they can watch and act as a safeguard, knowing when to pull me out.
Uh-huh. I see.
I can sit here, unless they break the alien loop, which they might, but you know, if they do, I don't care. I have plenty of data, you know, to give to the other scientists, and if they are good, it's all there.
Okay.
This is no bluff, believe me. I am flying right now. I have raised a red flag, and I'm not exaggerating when I said you would come into jeopardy. That's a decision you have to make. But I will say this: once the rest of these scientists who are coming in here, that hopefully one of the security agency people will come, and they know they have a special guy apparently, but they won't say who it is. Those that come in, I can almost guarantee you will walk into a page of history. You can see or listen to any of it. I'll play it back on the oscilloscopes. You can talk to the encounter victim. You can see my countermeasures. I'm not hiding anything.
Okay.
So, what I'm doing is that I will write a book, but at this point I'm overlooking it. You see, I could be selfish about it and not do it. And say, hey, maybe I can make some money at this, but that is not the intent. I'm a scientist.
I see.
The book has to be written for scientists, and yet simple enough for laymen to understand. And I'm not going to jump into the bath with all this UFO craze that's going on now and participate. This is serious. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's right. It sounds like it, at least.
Listen, I'll tell you, it's valid. I'm not playing a game. I'm not looking for publicity, and I'm not trying to argue or convince anybody. The proof is here, the convincing. It's up to them because they're scientists.
Sure. Well, hopefully scientists are a little open-minded, at least.
They don't have to be that. All they have to do is look at the data.
Okay.
Not a belief system at this point.
Yeah, right.
The data, and the hypothesis. Those are the ruling factors, and those cannot be abrogated. And they won't. If they are good scientists, I don't even have to explain it to them.
Yeah, it should be self-evident.
It's clear. I have to have the support, and I want good heads. I'm not looking for a belief system. I'm not trying to sell one, absolutely at all. I am, at this point, I'll put it another way, and this should clarify it. I will not play dice with my country. That's where I'm at.
I see. Well, I appreciate you being so direct about this. Look, I will be in contact with you in the near future, and I certainly appreciate your time. I'm going to have to cut off here.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Right. It's nice hearing from you. Perhaps I can meet you face-to-face in the near future. If you can attend, if you decide, if you feel you can take that step, that's a decision you have to make.
Right. I understand.
You do? Call me.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah, good night. End of call at 15 minutes to 11 p.m. Again, it's May 28th, 1980. Call to Mr. Paul Bennewitz, Bennewitz, of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, and so if that was May 28th, it sounds like Myrna Hansen and her son and mother were still with Bennewitz at that point. So we're talking been like 2.5 weeks.
Right. Which is a long time.
Which is crazy. She just, Gabe Valdez picked her up and drove her to Bennewitz's place, and she's been there the whole time, and they're like kind of, it sounds like from this tape and other things I've read, they're kind of barricaded in that house dealing with the aliens' beams, and his wife's getting knocked down by the beams 3 times, and who knows how long she was there. It sounds like a very odd situation,
Right. It does sound like it's Myrna's mother, Myrna's kid, who's 6 years old, and which, I don't know, it just seems like that would be a pretty elaborate sting operation if it was,
Yeah, I didn't remember exactly the age of her son at that point, but you're saying around 6 years old?
Yeah, I got that from somewhere. I think it was in the tape.
Okay. And so her son was hypnotized too, so this is pretty wild. You're hypnotizing a 6-year-old child as well.
Right. And yeah, I remember Paul was like, he doesn't really take to the hypnosis too well, but I can get him talking and he likes me. So we talk a lot about the aliens.
Yeah.
Or, his experience.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I thought was interesting was Peter Sturrock comments that Bennewitz's wife was being knocked down several times.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, there's no way, he kind of says it would be really kind of impossible for electromagnetic fields to knock over somebody. They would have to be extremely high frequencies to do that. So whatever was happening, I don't know. I mean, it could have been something that he was not aware of, some kind of technology that was being tested. But I kind of lean towards maybe some kind of like psychological thing maybe that's occurring. Like, I don't...
Well, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the beam, as far as the beam knocking her down, I think it could have been possible that there was some type of electromagnetic beam that made her faint-headed and passed out,
Yeah, that's possible.
The whole thing's just crazy, though. If your wife's getting knocked down or whatever, shouldn't you be taking her to a real medical facility and
right,
and get out of this place where they're being attacked 24 hours a day? He says.
Yeah, just really, really crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
20 ships are in the area at 8,000 feet. He's just, he's got all these weird facts. And anyway, I guess we'll do that McCampbell tape next time and finish our Bennewitz tapes.
Yes. And I get to pick the featured song for this episode. It's The Space Lady with Major Tom.
Major Tom's there too? Well, tell me about this one.
Yeah, it's from a CD I got from the Space Lady back in the day. She was a street performer.
Oh, cool.
In the Bay Area.
Oh.
San Francisco, Berkeley. There's some information about her on the web. She wore this little hat with wings on it, and these street recordings. And the CD itself is from 1990.
Okay, this was a little before my time in San Francisco.
And her name is Susie Sounds, a.k.a. the Space Lady.
Nice.
With Major Tom.
All right, let's play it.
Standing there alone, the ship is waiting, all systems are go. Are you sure? Control is not convinced, but the computer has the evidence. No need to abort. The countdown starts. Watching in a trance, the crew is certain, nothing left to chance. All is working, trying to relax. Up in the capsule, send me up a drink. Jokes Major Tom. The count goes on. 4, 3, 2, 1. Earth below us, drifting, falling, floating, weightless, calling, home. Second stage is cut. We're now in orbit. Stabilizers up. Running perfect. Starting to collect. Requested data. What will it affect? When all is done, thinks Major Tom. Back at ground control, there is a problem. Go to rockets full. Not responding. Hello, Major Tom. Are you receiving? Turn the thrusters on. We're standing by. There's no reply. 4, 3, 2, 1. Earth below us, drifting by, floating weightless, calling, home. Earth below us, drifting by, floating weightless, calling, home. Across the stratosphere, the final message: give my love, and nothing more. Far beneath the ship, the world is mourning. They don't realize he's alive. No one understands, but Major Tom sees. Now the light commands. This is my home. I'm coming home. 4, 3, 2, 1. Earth